Grace and peace, Brother Ellis here from the Ecclesia Seventh Day Adventist Church. And what we want to look at here in very simple terms and simple scriptures is the three justifications in its rightful order identified in the Bible. The first scripture we'll look at is Romans chapter 3, verse 30 and 31, and it tells us, seeing it is one God, which shall justify the circumcision by faith and uncircumcision through faith. So here we are being told about justification by faith. It is both for the Jews and the Gentiles. But this justification by faith, we are told, brings the person into obedience to the law of God. And this is why it is the first justification, because the man in sin is the man that is breaking the law. So the first justification is the justification by faith that changes the experience of the man from sin to sinfulness. And this is why we are told in verse 31, do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid, yea, we establish the law. So the first justification that addresses the sin problem of man is justification by faith. When the man is justified by faith, he is brought into obedience to the law of God. And we are told there's another justification identified there when the man is now in obedience to the law of God. We are told here in James chapter 2 and verse 21, it says, was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar? Seest thou how faith wrought with his works? So he already had the faith. Therefore, he's already justified by faith. And now that he's already justified by faith, the works of offering up his son Isaac is the works that follows by faith. And therefore, the justification by works is a justification that comes after the man already has the faith, and therefore he is already justified by faith. And that's why it says, seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect. So it confirms, it is a justification that confirms that the man was really justified by the faith. The man had already experienced justification by faith. And this is what we are told about Abraham, that he has already experienced justification by faith, and the works that he is now doing is works of obedience by faith. That is called justification by works. It confirms that he's already justified by faith. So what do we have? Justification by faith, justification by works. But then, when the man is justified by faith and he's doing the works of the law, we are told about another justification that happens in the future. In Romans chapter 2, verse 13, we are told, for not the hearers of the law are just before God. The just man is the man that has been justified by faith, but the doers of the law, the man that does the works of the law, is the man that is already justified by faith, and now he has justification by works because he's doing the works by faith. Then it says, shall be justified. That's a justification that happens after the man is justified by faith, after the man is justified by works. It happens in the future. When? Verse 16. In the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ according to my gospel. So here you have a justification that happens in the judgment. But notice when that justification happens. After the man is justified by works, he is being sanctified, maintaining righteous works according to the faith. But that is only accomplished when the man has been justified by faith. So we see the three justification in its order. Justification by faith, the transformation that brings the man into obedience to the law. Justification by works, as a result of the man obeying the law, he confirms that he's really justified by faith. And because of that now, when his name comes up in the judgment, you have the third justification, which is justification on the account of those works. He would have his historical past sins blotted out in the investigative judgment. So that is the Bible's presentation in a summarized way of the three justifications in its rightful procedure. Amen.